Good evening, everybody. Today is a special day, a special class, as we are approaching, our mission statement for the Shiurim is to learn Chasidis in order to improve ourselves and bring ourselves closer to Hashem. And by doing that, we are able to be a light, the candle of Hashem in this world, a light for Hashem. And when we represent Hashem, then everything that we do, Hashem helps us to succeed. And that specifically speaks about physicians, but the more physicians learn Hasidus, the better doctors they are going to become. And the more successful they will be their medical treatment. Of course, they have to sit and learn and pass their test. So today is special because Chasidus was born on Chai Elul, on the 18th day of Elul, which is this upcoming Shabbos. And because it's the birth of the Baal Shem Tov, the founder of the Chasidus, the general Chasidus, and the birth of the Alter Rebbe, Reb Shneur Zalman of Ladi. Baal Shem Tov's name was Rabbi Israel, and they were born on Chai Elul the same day, obviously in different years, 2 generations later. So this is the highlight of today's shiur, is their birth. And we're going to start with, I'm going to speak a little bit about what Hasidus is, and then we're going to learn a Sikha of the Rebbe, and we're going to see a video of what the Rebbe is talking about this Sikha. Okay, so I'm going to now share my screen. He can stay here. Let him stay here and listen. Okay, let him stay. Okay. Tell me if you will see the screen now. Okay. So I'll say a few words about Chai Elul, the joy of birth. So Chai Elul, do you see the screen?
Yes.
Okay. Chai Elul, and this is going to be, I'm going to post it later where it is. It's in Chabad.org. Chai Elul is the 18th day of Elul. It's the birthday of the 2 great luminaries, the Baal Shem Tov in the year 1698, and the Alter Rebbe in the year 1745. The Baal Shem Tov is the founder of the Chasidic movement in general, and the Alter Rebbe of Chabad Chasidism. The Torah mentions repeatedly that birthday of a tzaddik is a joyous time. Still, we don't find that Jews customarily celebrated their birthday as a Yom Tov or in a conspicuous manner. However, with regards to birthday of the Baal Shem Tov and the Alter Rebbe of Chai Elul, the previous Rebbe revealed in the name of his father, the Rebbe Rashab, that it is a day of rejoicing, to such an extent that we wish one another good Yom Tov. Since all things relating to Torah are precise, it follows that the special joy and uniqueness of the birthday celebrations of Chai Elul related not only to the Baal Shem Tov and the Alter Rebbe themselves, but also to the Hasidic teachings they revealed. Okay, so if we talk about a birthday, it's not just the birthday of these 2 individuals, but each individual revealed a specific teaching. And now we're going to try to understand what is the connection between birth of any person and their birthday and what they taught. Okay. Why are birthday being celebrated? Before a child is born, it has all its needs effortless provided for and is protected from harm in its mother's womb. At the moment of birth, all these changes. It needs to be fed, it loses its protections, and so on. The video of the Rebbe that we're going to see soon will be talking about this specific Sikha, but here I'm going to say it in English in a summary way, and we'll hear from the Rebbe in a few minutes. It will bring it a different meaning. Now, so it's not that only physically the baby is now less protected or it needs to be fed. And before that, everything was automatic for him, right? He ate, he did, everything was good for him. But also in Ruchnius, imagine the baby in his mother womb, it says that it sees from one end of the world to the other. It is taught the entire Torah. And as soon as it's born, it forgets the entire Torah. Imagine how he feels. I mean, as a baby, 9-month-old baby, he knows the entire Torah. When he comes out of his mother womb, he forgets everything. And we don't know, when we only know few people, individuals who learn all their life to acquire again the learning of the Torah. So therefore, the day of the birth then involves a tremendous descent for the child, both physically and spiritually. This being so, what reason is there for rejoicing on a birthday? So if a birthday appears to be as a descent, why are we celebrating it? But as long as the child is unborn, it is not yet a nefesh. He is not a complete being composed of unity of body and soul. Though it possesses all its limbs, it moves, it eats in the mother's womb, but the child only becomes a nefesh, meaning a real human being with the soul entirely only when it's coming out of the mother's womb. As long as the child is unborn, it receives its life force from its mother. The joy of the birthday is precisely because it is only then that the child becomes a complete and independent living entity, a nefesh. Okay? So birth, on one hand, is a descent. On the other hand, the baby is able to achieve something it couldn't achieve before, which is what? Independence and completeness. This explains why the concept of celebrating a birthday is brought about by the birthday of the Baal Shem Tov and the Alter Rebbe. For the birth of Chasidis initiated a similar thrust in the world. What exactly happened when Chasidis come? Exile, galus, is likened to pregnancy, and the redemption through Mashiach is called birth. So, and we are now, the Rebbe says, we are bechevlei Mashiach, like chevlei leida, like a woman giving birth to a child. There is pain, there is suffering, there is blood, there is screaming. That is a birth, okay? So right now, we are in exile, but we are going through a process. We are coming out into being a nefesh, a real person. Since Chasidis is the foretaste and the preparation to the redemption, and since spreading of the wellsprings of Chasidis serves to bring about the redemption, we understand that the innovation of Chasidis is similar to the revelation at the time of the redemption, the aspect of birth. Okay, we'll speak about this in a few minutes. A Jew may approach Torah and mitzvahs in one of two ways. The first way, it's possible to perform Torah and mitzvahs in such a complete manner that Torah and mitzvahs provide him, to a person, with spiritual life and nurture. Nevertheless, there remains a distinction between the performer and the performance. The person feels himself as a separate and distinct entity from the Torah and mitzvahs, which he performs, and which provide him with vitality and succor. Okay, so there can be a person doing it, but he feels like the Torah is somewhere else and I'm something else. It's separate. There are times when I do it, there are times when I don't do it. Okay, this kind of serving Hashem is similar to pregnancy, in that despite the child possessing all of its limbs and organs, its life and vitality is distinct from itself. It is its mother's. Okay, a child in the womb, a fetus, is not really alive, and we know by halacha that if the mother's life is in danger, you sacrifice the child to save the mother's life, because the child doesn't really have life at this moment. But once the baby is born, once his nefesh is in himself, then he's considered alive. So the Baal Shem Tov revealed and emphasized the inner and true aspect of En Od Milvado. There is nothing but him, but Hashem. That there exists no true entity other than God. Thus, there do not exist two realities, the person who performed the Torah mitzvahs and the Torah mitzvahs themselves. But right now there is one reality. The Baal Shem Tov revealed that God and his Torah and mitzvahs, which are one with him, is the only entity in the world. In this approach, is the second approach to Torah and mitzvahs, there is but one entity, for the person's entire being is composed of his performance of Torah and mitzvahs, which is to say, this is similar to a birth. When body and soul cease to be two separate entities and become portions of the same being. Our sages underscore this in their statement, I was not created but to serve my maker. Ani lo nivreti ela leshamesh eskoni. That man's entire being and his sole purpose of creation is for the service of his creator. For in order for God's will and wisdom, which is Torah and mitzvahs, to be accomplished and realized, we must necessarily exist as well, and exist as physical beings. Consequently, nothing was created for itself. All was created exclusively to serve the specific function in accomplishing God's will. If we will be in our mother's womb, then we will not be a physical being. But Hashem wants a physical being, a human being like us, that's separated from its mother, being alive, being a soul in the body, to learn Torah and do mitzvahs. While man will be fully born and truly live, live his life entirely united with God only in the time of Mashiach. It means for regular people, tzaddikim say that they are living with Mashiach. It said that there are tzaddikim who once, I think it was the Rabbi Menachem Menelav Horodok, he once was in Yerushalayim, somebody Michigan, a blue shofar in Yerushalayim, people thought Mashiach was come. So they came and ran to tell him the Mashiach came. He opened the window and he smells outside. He said, Mashiach didn't come. I don't smell Mashiach. So the question, if he knew Mashiach wasn't there, why did he have to open the window? Because in his house, in the house of a tzaddik, Mashiach is there. So, but for regular people that we don't feel Hashem all the time of our life, still Chasidus gives us a taste of what it will be when Mashiach will come. We do so by living and promulgating and the teaching of the Baal Shem Tov, especially in the manner that these teachings are capable of being internalized and affecting all our soul powers, as explained in the teaching of the Alter Rebbe. The Alter Rebbe explained to us how we're able to accomplish this connection, the close connection to Hashem. Therefore, Chai Elul is truly a birthday to be joyously celebrated. Now we're going to see the video of the Rebbe talking about this. 1 second. Good night, Kinderlach. 1 second.
Chiluk Ikri was wird zugetan in Berner Rege, was Jotze, mit Bet Nime und Ares Lavi Roela. Was sie das? Aber die Schaße bei Bet Nime konnte gar nicht tuften in der Welt. In der Wege, was Ares Lavi Roela, hat mich in sein Geschrei und ist schöne Walbo, oder verkehrt mit jedem Simcha, Nachas Ruch, Kajitzi Bose, ist schön geworden, a Keich Poil, a Sach, was wirkt in Welt. Wenn ist das geworden, in welcher Wege, Friede ist geworden, Echel, ist gegessen für sich. Nächste, was geworden, im Marsch immer gehelft, ist das geworden, Echel gegessen für sich. Geworden, nach Scheiße, nächste, was das im Marsch immer Scheiße, hat getrunken für sich. Bekommen lebt defekt, Zikas Lev, Cholo in Joni. Na Nume, na Nege, Nechet mit der Evelyn und das ausgewählt für sie. So wie Ziporno haben gehalten im Wachsen, Atsche Nigmero, so reise bis Ziporno, das ausgewählt nicht wie Zipornein können aufstehen in der Welt oder wie Seiris können aufstehen in der Welt. Wenn wird als Sach, was tut auf bei Lomische la Kodesh Baruch Hu, ist noch Terem jeder Hanar Likre, Terem jeder Hanar Lahafrim bin Tevelera. Von der ersten Regel, was reißt Laviro Elon, hat schön nur getan in Laviro Elon, Komur Leil, wie man sagt es mit Pashtus, oder schreit mit Dafür Meinstrimo, oder schmeichelt und mit alle Arumen, seinen glücklich, was der Kind schmeichelt, der Kajete, was kam in Jonim, und bechol jem, unheimlich von den Menschen Wege. In der Ruf Guf ist auch aber eine Dämme, sie das wird aufgetan durch sein Mitzis, und keine Stadlos Mitzidei, oder das wird aufgetan durch Meisterschule, was am Meister von der Kotne sagt am Meister, oder das wird zugetan durch sein Dibur und sein Machschowo, wo demnach darf man schon haben, soll sein Agordo. Al der sehe, inzwischen Chete wie Zeche wie Scheim im Mecher, da gab Shechem Shiftechem, ist jeder von sie hat die Schlichus. Neisaf, beloschen am Mischne, ani Nivreisi Leshamish Eskeni, ist Pirusha am Mischne und Gemorre und Medroshim, und Musa Chasidism und Kabbalah seine Meweihe. Aber der Shimush besteht bei Iker in der Ruf von Lasses Leid, Dire Betachteni. Machen von der Welt, als sie soll sein, Lecheves Yitzorah, von dem Odem Hoelien, wo da drauf darf man haben, die Kammer Pulis. Limo da Teire, die Kimis Visel, Kol Drachecho, Kol Masech, Yil Shem Shomai, wo Bechol Drachecho Doeil. Wo das ist der Chiv auf 15 Welt und machen Adiva, wie es Leis Borg betachtenim, ist das auf jeder Ried. Es kommt eine Dämme der Chiv, was liegt bei dem, was mit ihm gegeben größere Kirche ist, bis wann es mit ihm gegeben die größte Kirche ist, was kann sein. An die Schome Chadoshe. Was hat demut kann rufen, sein, die kann ich schon mal Chadosho, tut auf Chasidism in der ganzen Welt. Eine Welt, was die früher gewähnt, Tanoim und Amiroim und Fadruf, Meshe Rabbeinu und die Jovis Vechulu. Werde noch eine Shome Chadosho, was Jorde Lemato Nishome Beguf und do Lemato, wie sie da noch Yotzel Aviroelam. Ich sehe noch das, was ist zugekommen, eine Schoma in Welt, und das eine Schoma Chadosho im Atzmemur, als es darf zukommen in der Chidische Welt. Das gut ist in der Chidische. Warum eine Schoma ist hier, mit sie ist, bedürfen wir, wie man sagt, bei Meshe Rabbeinu. Aber Tirei Kitevu, als wenn Neilat, Nismale Kol Abayis Kuleira. Beneli ist Abayisi geworden, Moleira. Mit der Ätzem Rega, der Yotzel Lavi Loela. Mit Wilsach aber nicht nur Nisbala Abayis Kuleira. Was hat das tun, nur Nissi in den Meeres Agdeli. Sie sind in einem Moir, wo der Obtatsch von Moir ist, hat das in der Mokeva fehlt. Sie werden angerufen, Meeres Agdeli, aber die Injonei werden aufgetan in der Nähe von Gadlus. Bis wann ist das Wert an Meeres Lehoyer Tefach, על מנס להתפיח, וכידוע, was war bisher in Israel haben gesagt, aber bezahdig bei Menosse Yichye, Artikel Yichye, Elde Yechaye, das sind mehr nicht wie in Tchilos Lavede. Bescheid aber man macht dem zweiten lebendige Metzies, ist noch dafür leben bekehr Chatzmi und Bavede Satzmi. Und sie darf sein, wie ein Tal mit Tev, bekommt sich in sich ein von Trunas, von seinem Lamed, was das will jeder mal. Als Talmide soll werden ein Tefach Neres Lehoye, bis in ein Nefen von Tefach al-Nasla Atfiach, und wie Klolis, wie Schaße Wesek, wegen Chassidis Aklolis, und der Nossi von dem Miyasse ist von der Chassidis Aklolis. Und es wird sich wegen dem Miyad von dem Beire und Miyatze, der Eise von Chassidis Chabad. Und der Nossi hat Seif Kol von der Chassidis Chabad, hat Seif Kol Haderes, willen sie, als sein Talmidei im Kajese beher. In dem Linien, in welchen sie haben sich gekocht, und sie haben ihn drauf aufgetan.
This is a Farbrengen for Chai Elul, and during the Farbrengen, the Rabbi spoke several times. There was one time he said a mimer. This is a mimer.
I think it was not good. Okay. I think it is called the
Okay. Let me close this and go back to the Zoom. Okay. Okay. Okay, so now I'm going to speak about, so we saw a video of the Rebbe talking about the idea of birth. Birth is a new aspect of any person. That is when you start affecting the world around you. The main aspect of a person being born is to affect the world around him. It's not just for himself. For yourself, you can stay in your mother's womb. Once you come out into the world, you have to affect the world around you. There is a mimer of Chai Elul in the year Tafshin Chet, which was 1948. This time was the previous Lubavitcher Rebbe was the Rebbe. The Rebbe was his son-in-law. And the Rebbe, our Rebbe, was writing, making sure that everything that the previous Rebbe spoke was printed and taught. So this was printed by the Rebbe, but it was written by the previous Rebbe. So I'm going to talk about few ideas about Chasidis, what Chasidis is, and this we learn. The previous Lubavitcher Rebbe said that his father once took him on a walk. It was after Shavuos, it was Yutes and Chav Sivan, and he told him that Chasidus accomplished 10 things in the world. And he listed those 10 things, and I'm going to say what those 10 things are. And then we'll talk about an example from medicine. The teaching of Chasidis is a very deep intellect with deep and wide wisdom. Second thing is that there is a difference between the intellect of a Nigle de Torah, like learning Gemara, Mishnah, Shulchan Aruch, which speaks about the physical world and speaks about what's allowed, what's not allowed, how you keep Shabbos, how you should not be Mechalel Shabbos, what is kosher, what's not kosher. And there is a sechel of Chasidis. There is the wisdom of Chasidis. Now, what does that mean? The wisdom of Chasidis is coming to explain spiritual things. When we speak about physical things, it's easy for us to find examples, right? We have kosher food, non-kosher food. The lung of the animal is kosher, the lung is diseased, the animal is not kosher. But when you have to find examples and parables about spiritual things, it requires a lot of brain effort. So it's not easily sensible to a person. Another thing, when you're trying to learn Gemara and you have to toil in Gemara, it comes with a lot of hard work of the flesh. Your body is a physical work of the body. But when you're trying to understand and comprehend the Torah of Chasidis, it requires the toil of the soul until you can able to understand those spiritual things. Everything that a person understands and learns, it affects him internally. It affects his livelihood. When you learn things of the world, even though it's an internal chayus, it's only temporarily. You can forget it. But when you learn the Torah of Chasidis, it's a chayus atzmi. It's an internal fire within the person that can never be extinguished. And he's going to give an example that when you take, a match, you're trying to take a wood, you want to burn the wood, you turn the fire on, then the wood is going to burn. But if you put the wood in water, the wood is not going to burn. However, why? Because the fire within the wood is not an internal fire. It's not a true fire within him. When you take a flintstone, okay, flintstone is like two stones that if you hit two stones together, you're going to get a spark, and with that you can light fire. That's how they used to light fire before we have matches and other ways. You can put the flintstone in water, in mud for hundreds of years. You take it out, you wash it, and it can give you right away fire. How come? Because the fire in the flintstone is not external. It's an internal light. It's an internal fire. So the chayus atzmi of Torah Chasidus is make everything chay be'etzim. It's really, really alive. And when it's really alive, it's not just alive for its own self, but it's alive to make other people's alive. And that is what Torah Chasidus is coming to teach, that you should need to make other people alive. If somebody else is not understanding what Chasidus is, and is not a lively person towards Torah and mitzvahs, you are able to make him alive through teaching him. The Alter Rebbe went on Mesiras Nefesh for Torah Chasidus, and he acted up in Shamayim that in any place and in any time when they're going to learn Chasidus through a book or by Al Peh or by heart, if you're saying it from your own mind, like right now I'm reading it from a book, right? But if you're saying it by your heart, this is going to have a positive impact on those who listens to it. And the last thing that the Frierdiker Rebbe said, it's betnai sheishmeru divrei harav. It's in a condition that you have to keep what the Rebbe says, what the Hasidic Rebbe says, meaning that, and it says, now it's soifan betchilatan, tchilatan besoifan. The beginning is rooted in the end. That what is the most important is to say the words of the Rebbe, of Chasidis, the way it is in the book, the way the Rebbe says it, and not to change it. Now, sickness of the soul, okay, which we tend to call it mental illness, okay, we call mental illness or illness of the soul, is and requires healing. Now, the Torah of Chasidis has healing to any and every disease possible in the world, both physical and spiritual diseases. Okay, and the Rebbe, the first Chabad Rebbe, the Alter Rebbe, wrote the book Tanya, and in there he has a lot of sayings of how the Hasidim, the people, should fix their soul, should fix their mental illness or spiritual illness. Okay, now he takes a comparable from physical illness. Physical illness, there is a general illness, like fever. Okay, somebody has high temperature. He takes Tylenol or Motrin, and the fever goes down. So that is kind of a medicine that you take for a general well-being. I mean, the fever is not a definition of a disease. It's a symptom of infection, inflammation. Okay, so we see that there are some diseases, some symptoms a person have. He can go to the pharmacy and he buys over-the-counter medicine to ease his generalized symptom. Same thing is with spiritual illness. Somebody doesn't have enough trust in Hashem. You can open a book like Sefer, Chovas HaLevavos. There are many books of Hasidus, books of Musar, books of morality that teaches you how to trust Hashem, how to believe in Hashem, how to love other people. It's a general medicine for the general population. Okay, so like in medicine we have Tylenol, in Torah we have special chapters talking about trust in Hashem. However, there are more complicated illnesses that those general medicines are not going to help. And when a person feels that he is sick and he takes the medicine and he's not getting better, he's going to go and search for a doctor. And not stam a regular doctor, he's going to look for a specialist. And the specialist cannot just tell him, oh, take Tylenol. He said, I already took it. So the specialist has to investigate and to examine him and to do some testing until the special doctor finds out the disease. Then the person has to, then the doctor has to not just give him a general medicine, he has to prescribe him a special medicine that need to be specially prepared by the pharmacist. Okay, so he has to go to the pharmacist. The pharmacist has to prepare it for him. Then he has to pay for it. He takes it into his house and he's putting it on the table. So he went through all these efforts. He took the medicine, he went to the doctor, he brought it to his house, and he's leaving it on the table. And he's not consuming it into his mouth, into his body. He did not help himself by no means. Why? Because you went through all these struggles to go to the doctor, get the medicine, paid for it, brought it home, put it into your mouth, swallow it, it's going to heal you. If you don't do it and you're only going to put the medicine on the table, it is not going to heal you. It's going to be even more dangerous because your disease will get even worse and worse. And God forbid, it can bring you to a sakana. Same is with Chasidis. You need to go to a Rebbe, Roifei Nefashos, not a psychiatrist, but that person, a rabbi who specializes in treating spiritual illness, and he make for you a special treatment, special instructions. He writes it in a book. He tells you what to do. You take the book home, you take the instructions home, and you leave it on the table, and you leave the book on the shelf behind you. It's not going to help you. It's not going to heal your illness. You have to open the book, you have to learn what it says, and you have to incorporate into your life and practice it on a daily basis. This is what Chasidism is. You have to open the books, you have to daven with avoda, you have to learn, and you have to strengthen your soul. That was what was strengthening your soul. So when he said that Chasidus has the healing for every disease, it's only if you open, learn, and work hard on yourself with Yegias Moichin, with your mind to understand these deep concepts. And the main thing is to say the way it is. Divrei Harav. You have to practice Chasidus like the Rebbe says. You cannot modify it. And this is what has the power to heal all kinds of diseases. And therefore, any person who wants to fulfill his mission in life among the Hasidim, the congregation, among everybody else, we have to do our job. And that is to enlighten the hearts of the Jewish people and to light the houses of Jewish people with the light of Torah and the service of Hashem, and to do everything we can with all kinds of, in a way, attempts and tricks and efforts to awaken, to learn Torah on a specific time, to teach Torah and Hasidus in public, either through a book or by heart, but you have to keep the words of the Rebbe. Here and there you can put your own words to explain, but you have to keep the words of the Rebbe. And you have to teach about contemplating and meditation on the oneness of Hashem, the service of the heart, to love Hashem, and tikkun hamidus, to fix our character with love Abbas Israel, to love the Jewish people, to teach Torah, to fear Hashem, Yiras Shamayim, etc. And this is the corridor, the channel to come into the palace of Torah Hasidus. And this is a special, very needed aspect that we should have special times like Shabbos or Yom Tovs and other special days to make it for bringing a gathering and encourage each other to teach and learn how to learn more Hasidus. And when we create unity among ourselves, this will create unity of all the Jewish people with the Torah, with Hashem. This will bring Mashiach, and this is how Hasidus is mechaye the nefesh of everybody. This is the lesson of Chai Elul.